With African elephants, both the male and the females have tusks, because African elephants often debark trees and therefore both sexes need tusks. These days you will see a lot of tuskless elephants. This is a genetic defect caused by poaching of elephants with the largest tusks. Taking out all the big tuskers has weakened the gene pool. An elephant uses its trunk for breathing, smelling, and also like a hand. African elephants live together in herds of 8 to 10 individuals, consisting of the matriarch, which is usually the oldest female, and related females and their offspring. Male elephants will only stay with the group until they reach puberty at the age of about 14 years. Young males will sometimes form bachelor herds, however older males are usually solitary. When family herds get too big, they break up into smaller groups. However, related groups will often stay in close proximity to each other and will always remember each other when re-encountered. Hunting and loss of habitat has threatened elephant populations for centuries. Ivory has been traded for thousands of years, the earliest ivory sculptures dating back more than 30,000 years. In southern and western Africa, elephant numbers declined dramatically in the 18th and 19th centuries as Europeans began to settle on the continent. Throughout much of the 20th century, hunting continued to decimate populations. In 1989, the African elephant was placed on Appendix 1 of CITES, which prevented international trade in ivory and other elephants. This let elephant numbers recover in many African countries, however poaching has never completely stopped. Another threat to elephant populations is habitat encroachment. Increasing human populations reduce the amount of available habitat. Today there are around 500,000 elephants in Africa, compared to an estimated 10 million elephants 100 years ago. Because elephants have an advanced social structure, they require good levels of communication. Elephants are able to communicate over short and long distances using hearing, vision, smell, taste, and touch. Elephants communicate in order to keep track of their relatives, defend their territories, alert the group of danger, convey their reproductive state, and associate with their young. There are 5 different types of communication that elephants use: acoustic communication, chemical communication, visual communication, tactile communication, and seismic communication. Acoustic communication uses sound production and hearing. Elephants can produce a wide variety of sounds, including growls, squeals, shrieks, and low-frequency vocalizations that humans cannot hear. These sounds are used to secure territories, to attract mates by advertising reproductive state, to coordinate movements, and to announce needs. Variations in sounds can be used to identify individual elephants and to determine the emotional state of the elephant. 75% of sounds produced by elephants are too low frequency for human ears to hear. Elephants use low and deep rumbles to communicate over long distances. These calls can travel around 2 kilometers during the day and up to 10 kilometers at night. Chemical communication involves the secretion of chemical signals from the skin glands, reproductive tract, urine, feces, or temporal gland, which is located between the eye and the ear. These signals are received by sniffing with the trunk at the mouth, at the temporal gland, at the genitals, in the air, or on the ground. Chemical communication is used to recognize individuals, to communicate over long distances, and to advertise reproductive state. Reproductive state needs to be advertised over long distances because mature bulls live away from the female herd, and females are only in estrus for about 3 to 4 days a year. Elephants use a variety of expressions and postures to intimidate and to display dominance or subordinance. For example, an elephant demonstrating their dominance will lift their head high above their shoulders and spread their ears wide. A subordinate elephant will pin their ears back and hang their head low. If an elephant wishes to intimidate, for example when a human is approached too close, they will shake their head vigorously, kick up dust, stand tall, and sometimes mock charge. Tactile communication involves touch. This form of communication can be either affiliative or disciplinary. Examples of affiliative interactions would be entwining trunks, checking mouths with trunks, and touching sides. Examples of disciplinary interactions would be slapping with trunks, kicking, and shoving. Seismic communication involves low-frequency, high-amplitude signals that travel through the ground. Elephants have a special nerve in their feet that picks up the signals and sends the information to their brains. The Elephant Sanctuary was founded in 1999. This sanctuary is home to 4 females and 1 male elephant. The Elephant Sanctuary is strongly opposed to removing elephants from the wild for the purposes of tourism. All the elephants found at the Elephant Sanctuary have been rescued from attempted exporting to overseas zoos and from culling programs. The elephants at the sanctuary are trained by the elephant handlers, which means it is possible for guests to be able to interact with these elephants. These guest interactions not only supply the funding for the sanctuary, but most importantly, educate the public about these amazing animals. Elephants are never forced to perform unnatural behaviors or tricks. The Elephant Sanctuary also aims to release their elephants back into the wild as and when it is viable to do so. The role of volunteers at the Elephant Sanctuary is to assist with Edge of Africa's research and also to assist with the general maintenance of the sanctuary. As the elephants are living in a semi-captive situation, this means they are fairly easy to view, which provides an excellent opportunity for research, particularly behavioral research. Our current focus is investigating tactile interactions amongst the herd. Maintenance tasks that you will be involved with include cleaning the stables and other areas that the elephants use, general maintenance of the sanctuary itself, cutting branches for the elephants, and so on. Please be aware that you may sometimes be asked to assist with tasks that do not directly relate to the care of the elephants, but remember, everything that you help with will be related to the upkeep of the sanctuary, and without the sanctuary there is no home for the elephants. When it comes to physically interacting with the elephants, this is restricted to the set interaction times that are also available to other guests. The sanctuary tries to allow the elephants the maximum amount of time to just enjoy being elephants, and therefore we cannot disrupt this routine. However, as you will be involved in conducting behavioral observations, you will have the privilege of spending a lot of time observing the elephants' behavior, and through this you will become very familiar with these elephants. When you are working at the Elephant Sanctuary, you will need to take with you spades, gloves, work boots, and your lunch.